overwhelmed because your district decided to go with online teaching, you're not alone. Teachers are scrambling to figure out what they can do to make sure that online teaching goes just as well as it would in the classroom. Hi, I'm Cindy Rosa, and I want to share with you 6 challenges that teachers are currently facing with distance learning and what you can do about it. Number 1, isolation. When we were at school, we would have a 20 to 30 minute break every day to go to the staff lounge and talk to our fellow colleagues, and we can vent and we can talk about what was going on in class. And what was really important is that they understood our frustration and what was going on in the classroom. And now we don't have that anymore. My advice to you is to call, text, and FaceTime your colleagues because they're feeling isolated too and they're frustrated too. A good vent session is going to go a long way, and that collaboration is going to help so much in your planning and what you want to do next. Number 2, glitchy or lack of technology. As we've been going through this, we're finding the big gaps between students being able to have technology and all the trouble it takes to run everything online. You got to remember, teachers want to teach, but how can you teach when students have spotty Wi-Fi, keep getting booted off the Zoom classroom, or are having trouble uploading documents, or if you're trying to upload a video for your students and it's not working? Standing by while you're watching your students fall behind because of technology is beyond frustrating. My advice to you is to remember that you are not tech support. You can help as much as you can, but we do need to figure out a way so we can streamline and get these students the help that they need. My suggestion to you is that on your school website, you have a place where students can go and maybe do a Google form where they can say that they're having issues with their technology, so that you're not calling and trying to find out, is it attendance issue because they're sick, or is it because of technology? We need to be able to streamline this information because having a call every day for teachers is a lot of work. So we need to streamline this process so that we can get students the help that they need. Challenge number 3 is planning. So you sit down and you open your planner and you're ready to plan, and you just have so many questions that you need to answer before you even get started. How much time will it take me? How do I keep them engaged? How do I make sure that they're actively learning? What technology do I use? Will my students have access to the technology I want to use? My advice is to take inventory of what your students need right now. Do they need an induction to learning online? Do they need small explicit activities? Do they need games to help them learn how to communicate effectively through an online platform? Or are they already proficient in technology? You definitely want to make your online classroom your own, with your own unique style and your own unique take on how you teach. It's a good idea to also collaborate with others who are in the same boat so that you can work together and figure out what actually works. Get together with your department or with your grade level to really look at what is essential of your standards. Pick just 1 or 2 objectives for the day and then just stick to that, because if you really try to teach them everything, it's going to be impossible. So you really want to hone in on what's important. Number 4, unpredictability. Unpredictability is a major trigger to anxiety. It's one of the reasons why people hate clowns. Things are constantly changing. We went from going in person, hybrid, and then completely online. So your anxiety is because there's so much unpredictability that's going on, not just for you, but also for your students. Managing your own family while simultaneously trying to teach and come up with new ideas can be extremely overwhelming. My advice to you is to breathe. Remember that you are trying the best that you can, and showing up every day is already a win. Having that consistency for your students is so important. If you feel overwhelmed, reach out to your admin and to your colleagues when you're feeling overwhelmed so that you can figure out a way to best serve your community and your students. This is the time to beg, steal, and borrow from others. Ask them what's working and what's not working. Ask if you could borrow that lesson or that video that they posted. Number 5, time. I had a colleague tell me that it was her 26th year teaching, but she felt like she was a first-year teacher. Your head is spinning with, how do I do this? Where do I even begin? We were not trained to teach online. So how do the things that we know, the pedagogy that we know that works in the classroom, how can we transfer that to online teaching? And as we're trying to learn that, it is extremely time consuming. My advice to you, give each task its time limit. Set 30 minutes for different tasks. For instance, if you're checking your email, you might think that you're only checking your email for half an hour, and when you look at the time, an hour has gone by. So you really need to set timers on your phone to remind you to stop what you're doing and move on to the next task. Especially if you're trying to learn something, let's say on YouTube, you can go down a rabbit hole real fast. Set just an hour of your block of time to really focus in on what it is that you want to learn. You also need to make time for your family, so you want to make sure that you block off time and make it in chunks so you can optimize what you're learning and what you're doing with your time. Number 6, emotional toll. Teaching online takes a lot of energy. How can we possibly give to others if we're on empty? Teachers are constantly being asked to go above and beyond what they do, and this time it's a little bit different because we are all personally being affected with what's going on. Educators are so good at adapting to new situations. We are one of the most resilient people out there, but this time it's slightly different because a lot of us are going through a lot of emotional situations ourselves. So if you feel like your personal life is being maxed out, here's my advice to you. Set your phone to have an alarm every 20-30 minutes to remind you to stop and to breathe. Because breathing is so important. You breathe in, and when you breathe out, you take out all that CO2, so breathe out slowly. Get all that air out. Take a few minutes to do a dance party. Find something that you enjoy. For a lot of us, the things that were our coping mechanisms when we felt anxious or worried or drained are not there anymore. So we have to create new ways to help refill ourselves so that we can give to others. Continue being awesome educators. Continue fighting through. Let me know in the comments below what's your biggest challenge. And remember, we don't need to make students want to come to school. We need to create schools that students want to go to.